Hi guys, welcome back to another vlog. This vlog will be a bit different. I don't have a jewelry update for you, but I did do a bathroom remodel, so I'm going to share that with you. I have a really small bathroom. I've been in this house for probably going on 20 years, and the bathroom was probably built or designed in the 50s, and so it was super old. It had a lot of wear and tear on it. It was literally falling apart. I had a small shower, so it's a stand-only shower, sink and toilet, and it's really small. And so it was really dark, really dingy. Tile was falling off. I had filled in holes with like construction foam, didn't even bother to make it look neat or anything. That was starting to yellow. It was pretty bad. And so I guess I had just gotten used to it, and I figured it was just time to do something about it. So, investing in your home is really not a loss. It's just an investment or a reallocation of funds. So it's not like you're losing anything. So I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. But I did not want to spend a grip. So I hired some help. This particular contractor kind of let me assist and be the assist during the process. So that kind of helped to keep costs down. So you'll see that demolition day was very physical, very busy. I didn't really get any footage of us demolishing the bathroom. I think I do have a few photos of what the bathroom looked like, so I could probably insert that. But yeah, like I said, demo was super busy, so I didn't get any demo. I got a little bit of footage towards the end, so that's where the vlog is going to open, so you'll see that in a minute. Just wanted to get on here and put out this little disclaimer that it's not your typical jewelry vlog. I know you guys are here for the jewelry, and we'll do an update on that soon, but we're gonna try our hand at a few other things, things that I like to do. So although this was physically taxing, I do enjoy the process of like working with my hands and building stuff. Probably won't be doing it again. So after this project, my body was humming. So I was like, okay, I need like a super break. But anyway, I guess I'll see you in the next clip. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, so in this clip, you're kind of looking at me, not kind of, you're looking at me take video footage of demolition day. So this was the day we started demolition. We started before sundown, but towards the end, I realized that I didn't have any video footage. So me and my contractor demoed everything. So what you see is we demolition the whole shower niche. We took out the sink, and we took out the wall behind the sink. So you can see the plumbing there where the sink would be right next to the toilet. And then you see what we demolitioned in the shower. Now, on the bottom, you can see the actual shower pan. On the other side of the shower pan, kind of to the right, you'll see cement. And so that section was just wall. It was shower wall. And I'll have to insert a picture of what that looked like. And so what I did was I asked him, would we be able to extend that wall out to the exterior wall so that it meets the wall that the sink would be on? And in that little section, create a bench and continue to tile up, and then eliminate the little piece of wall, like the quarter of a wall that would have been on the side of that. and just open the shower completely up. And what I could do is build a pony wall, so a wall that kind of reaches waist height. And then you can put a glass panel there so that you get full light into the shower. Because beforehand, my shower was really dark. There was no overhead light. And like I said, there was a wall there and about a 28-inch opening to get in and out of the shower. And so what we did was we opened up that wall. We built a bench. We did a pony wall so that you can have full glass all the way up to the ceiling, or not necessarily up to the ceiling, but tall enough, like 7 feet. And then you get full light into the shower. Okay, so I didn't videotape myself doing it, but I red guard the wall, did cement backer board. So my contractor put up the backer board for me. He did the measurements, cuts, and install. And then I came in and did the waterproofing with the red guard. Then I helped to tape and float some spots here. There's this gap here. And he forgot about the wall niche for the soap. It's a little short, but I can get some soap in there. But anyway, so he had to go in and kind of cut it out because he had already built the wood to go in there, but he forgot when he did the backer board. So anyway, there's that. And then I did some prep for the shower floor. So my shower floor is tiled, and underneath the tile is cement. So there's already cement there underneath. So we didn't get a jackhammer to get that up. We're just gonna tile over it. So I prepped it with some MBP. That's the blue stuff you see on the floor. That's this stuff here. So we did that. He fixed the niche for me for my mirror. I have a small mirror, 20 inches long. Can't go longer than that because of the plug. Let's see. Guess mortar will go in there. And all of that up there. I'm not sure about any of that. So there's this gap up here. So I guess the wall wasn't cut, or the wall probably isn't plumb anymore. But anyway, sorry, the light's like completely in the way. But I'm not sure how that's gonna be remedied. But yeah. Anyway, there's that. We're gonna keep the same floors, just clean them up real good. They're kind of beat up, but you know, whatever. That crack was already there. And that's it for now, so stay tuned. Okay, so this corner has like this 2-inch gap that lives here, and putting this this tape here. Someone put this tape here, and it's not quite a good 90-degree angle, and it was bowing. So I know this is for sheetrock, but as far as I'm concerned, this waterproofing system ain't nothing but liquid tape. So when it dries, it's a membrane. So as far as I'm concerned, this is gonna do the job. So what I'm gonna do is, or what I've done is, I've cut it. I'm gonna clean it up really good. I'm gonna cut this down to size, and I'm going to mortar it into the wall, and that's gonna give me the support I need to then put the waterproofing system over it without the tape. And it's also going to give me the 90-degree angle that I'm looking for. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go get some thin set to backfill this and smush it into, and let that dry for a couple hours, and then come back and put the red guard on. So yeah.
So let's find some scissors and cut. What do I do with the scissors here? Okay. Let's see. And this is just me being defiant of my contractor because he put the tape here, and it was just it was bold. It wasn't a complete 90-degree angle, and I wasn't happy with the solutions he was providing. So yeah, I've taken it upon myself to do it my way. So he'll just have to deal with it. Okay, so sit this here, and then what we'll do is probably bring it up to about right here, and it's still bowing a little bit, right there. Yes. See or no? Because I'm not gonna screw it in. I ain't doing that, but I will cement it in. How about that? How about them apples? Because I was told that this was a waste of money, but I tell you what would be a waste of money. What would be a waste of money would be to pay someone to fix my problem, and I still have a problem. So yeah, what we'll do is this. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then I'll be happy with that. And then we can red guard it and go on about our damn business. Okay, so let me clean this up and decide if I'm gonna make a little cement and stick it back there. I think that's what I'll do. And then we'll red guard it. So I'll be back. Okay, so I have some mortar. It's kind of fast drying mortar. And what I'm gonna do with this mortar, still kind of needs to harden up a little bit. But what I'm gonna do with this mortar is try to fill this gap best I can. And this mortar is what's going to hold my solution in place. And then we'll come back in and red guard the rest once it's dry. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Can you say Jerry? Say it with me now. Cause baby, I tell you what, if I start this whole renovation and paid someone to come in here and fix my problem, and I still had a problem after it's all said and done and stuff started coming loose in this corner, it was gonna be a problem. So, yeah. Not to mention, I have a cousin who's an architect. I got a friend who's a facility manager. Like, I'm not the one. The 2, the 3, the 4. You know, I ain't on the spectrum nowhere. So, that's what people be messing up at. Story of my life. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's still a bit soupy. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna let this dry. I'll let this sit for a little while. And come back in and I mean it. And put it in there, and so we can sit this in this channel right here, like this here. It's gonna give me what I'm looking for. It's gonna give me exactly what I'm looking for. So yeah, I'll be happy. Now, I agreed, my contractor agreed to let me be the help to keep costs down. There ain't too many people that's gonna do that. So God bless them for that. However, since it's my house, I'm just gonna do what I wanna do. Because I'm smart enough to do it. Boo. Okay. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'll be back. Alright, we're gonna make it. It's gonna work. So, it's going to work. Because I said so. Because the backer board is cement. So, I'm essentially setting cement here. As far as I'm concerned. Get in there. There's Braxton. Big mouth dog. Something told me to hold on to these blue bunny things. I don't know what that something was. That something sure was right. She wasn't lying. Ow. Braxton! Big mouth dog! Braxton think my neighbor is making this noise. And it's really me. I need another glove because ain't nobody trying to have dry fingers. All right, let me go get one of my sponges. All right, that's gonna give me enough of what I'm looking for. That's gonna work. That's gonna work. It's gonna work. And then we're back buttering the tile, so it's relatively thick. Yeah, that's gonna work. And then what we're gonna do is we are going We're gonna put the heater on it. Dry it. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Okay, and then where's my... So I got this heater, and we're just gonna heat it and be back in 4 hours.
Okay, so in this clip, this is me coming back after about 4 hours, letting that mortar dry that I put in the corner. I used the mortar to set that white 90-degree angle piece of plastic into that corner so that I could fortify that corner at the right angle. Because the backer board that's already in place did not touch because the wall isn't plumb. So it didn't touch, so that when we put the red guard there, it left like this U-shaped bow. And so I just wasn't sure how the tile was supposed to fit there. So anyway, I came back after 4 hours after the cement had dried, and that's now in place. So now what I'm doing is taking the red guard. So red guard is pink when it's wet, and when you know it's dry, it turns red. So I'm just red guarding that area really good, waiting a while for it to dry a little bit, and then going back over it so that once I'm done with that, I'm done for that day. By the time our contractor comes back in a couple of days, it'll be good and dry. And then the next day, we'll move on to painting so that I can paint so that when he does come back, we can continue the tiling process.
Okay, so I'm gonna welcome back, new day. I'm gonna paint the ceiling. I had to go and get a roller with thick enough nap. The ceiling has quite a bit of texture to it, so this should get in between the crevices and get this ceiling done so I can be done with this painting. And then by the time Bryant gets back, we can just continue the tile, and the painting will be done. So yeah, here we go. It soaks up pretty much all your paint. He had a spray gun, but the first one he gave me was a bit on the not so effective side. So yeah. Nobody was trying to be that ineffective. This light is blinding, man. Shit. Anyway. Okay. How about we turn the light off? Before I lose my eyesight. Yeah. Anyway. light, just so you know. Ooh, my hand hurts. Ooh, my hand hurts. I don't know if I have a bit of arthritis or carpal tunnel or something. I'll tell you what. This hand here, my predominant hand. Yeah. Alright. Let's let that dry down a little bit. Just a touch of love, a little bit. And then we'll come back 20 minutes. And run it back. And then touch up any spots that need touching ups. We'll just do a whole new coat. Yeah, maybe 3 coats. I don't know. Anyway, be back.
Okay, so in this clip, you're basically going to see me just cutting tile. So I use my contractor's saw with a diamond blade to cut tile. So what we were doing, he was taking measurements inside of the bathroom and drawing on the tile. And he would hand me a few pieces of tile through the window on the outside of the house. So that's where I'm going. And then I'd come back and make the cut. And then I would take it back to him, pass it to him through the window. And then he would do the fitting and then make adjustments as we go. So we were kind of tag teaming in that sense. As you can see, there's water here. So his saw had an attachment where you can attach the water hose to it so that when you cut the tile, it keeps down on the dust. So that's why you see all this dripping or whatnot. And we held on to some of the scrap pieces just in case we needed it later on. And we did need a few scrap pieces for some odd cuts later on in the process. So for the most part, this whole clip is just me cutting tile. So more than likely, I'll just speed it up, do a speed through, cut down on it a little bit. and keep moving on it. My dog Braxton had a ball with this because we were in and out of the house for the most part. So every time we opened the door, he shot out the door. And he marched the perimeter of the yard the whole time. So every night Braxton was like knocked out. So yeah, that's pretty much all this is. I was a tile cutter for weeks on end. Okay. So I chose a hexagon shaped tile for my bathroom. Why I did that, I don't know. The cuts would have been simpler, easier, faster if I would have just done a square or a rectangle tile. But I gotta be extra. So, here we are. Unbasic. So what I did was, like I said, I was just cutting tile, but it took like a really long time. My hand was hurting from doing these cuts. But come to find out, the blade was dull, and I didn't know that. How am I supposed to know the blade is dull? So when he came out to cut a piece of tile himself, he realized that the blade was dull, and so he swapped it out. So I did the majority of these cuts with a dull blade. So my biceps were pretty strong afterwards, but my hand hurt for a good while. It took a while for it not to hurt after we were done with the project. So yeah, if you are doing this project yourself without any help, or even with some help like your spouse or whatnot, I would suggest, if you want a faster process and an easier process and simpler cuts, go with square or rectangle. If you have to have a octagon shaped tile and you're doing this yourself and you are unexperienced, you are going to be cussing to the skies. Like, I just wouldn't suggest you do it. I mean, if you're completely inexperienced with this, I wouldn't suggest you do a hexagon shaped tile. It was hard enough doing it with my contractor. I'm pretty sure the cuts would have went really fast if they were just rectangular or square. But now I'm just repeating myself at this point. So yeah. Okay, so in this clip, what you see me doing is I'm taking the grinder from the multi-tool and I'm clearing out the grout lines with any excess mortar that spilled through. Also, the plastic spacers that we use to make sure the space between each tile is pretty much the same. If you don't remove those the same day, they'll dry into that space. And so you'll also see me pulling them out with pliers. And then the ones that I pull out with pliers, but there's a little bit left, I'm just using this multi-tool to kind of grind it out from in between the space. So I'm kind of going over it with my hand, trying to make sure everything looks pretty good so that when we use the thin set, everything will fill into the spaces nicely. So this is just me kind of going over everything, looking over everything, and grinding out any excess mortar in between spaces so that it's ready to go when we're ready to float thin set.
So we're probably 90% away from the bathroom being complete. The door has been hung. I need to seal the grout. The contractor left that for me to do. I was fine with that. He installed the door. He installed the vanity. We did not have the proper fittings for this. So I have to go to the store and get like 1/4 inch flexible fixture. Toilet was already here. I upgraded the toilet probably a year ago. But I can tell you that sometimes when the water is turned off, especially in older homes, when you turn the water back on, if you have old galvanized piping, the rust is going to come through. So the water had been off and on a couple of times, and the rust that was in this toilet was atrocious. I was afraid that it wouldn't come out, but it did. Took a lot of scrubbing with Ajax and kind of like a hard scrubber, dish scrubber. And you had to get all the water out so that you could really scrub. But anyway, in case you ever run into that problem. And then I bought, this is a piece of tile. I want to say it's a 15 by 30. And so I already had this ledge here. So I just bought a 15 by 30 piece of tile, kind of rounded the edges a little bit and set it up here for my shelf, just to give me some actual shelf room for all my makeup, because this is a tight bathroom. You can see the mirror there, and then you can see the bathroom here. This is as far back as I can walk, so you can see the shower. But he did put an overhead light. The light is warm. I would rather it be daylight. The light that is here over my mirror is a more of a cooler tone daylight. And then my shower fixtures are black. My faucet fixtures are gold. So the shower door opens both ways, swings out. It just barely fits. Thank God, because I was gonna cry if it wouldn't. So this is a 30-inch shower door. This is porcelain tile. Porcelain's really hard. It took him hours to drill holes through this tile and the mortar. I mean hours. Do you hear me? For 8 holes. So, yeah, there's that. Like I said, I got a grout. I mean, not grout. It's been grouted, but I need to seal the grout. So I have yet to do that. I need to cut this taping off here. And then he did grout the shower. He did a horrible job at grouting. Maybe he did that on purpose so I would have something to clean up. I don't know, whatever. But these lines are effing horrible. So I'm in here trying to clean these lines up. So we don't know how long that's gonna take. And then I need to do some touch-up paint around the edges. We did white caulking at the top. We did the gray caulking in the seams. He did the caulking in this soap niche. Once again, look at these grout lines. Like, why would you do that? Maybe he was pissed, maybe he was annoyed. I don't know, but that's what happens when you're dealing with somebody that be up in their emotions. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I don't know. Maybe he was tired. I don't know, whatever. He did an overall good job. Who knows why people do what they do, but anyway, child. My tile, I want to say I need to scrub it a little bit, but it may not come out at this point. it's not a shiny tile. I need to wipe it down real good with a microfiber cloth. And then we should be good to go. This little plate barely fits in there. Anyway, this is sticking out, so hopefully I don't hurt myself on it. My toes are ashy. Look, I don't like how that's sticking out. Why he didn't? Oh God, Jesus. Okay, anyway. Anyway, last but not least, I need to get a wall for here. So here, I need to get a glass panel put in right here. I'm gonna say it's like 20 by 35, and they'll give you brackets to put so it'll hold. I don't know if I'm gonna do that myself or have someone professionally install it. It's probably gonna be really expensive and very time consuming to have someone install it. But anyway, I'm gonna go continue to work on these lovely grout lines that he left for me to clean up. And I think I still need to caulk the bottom. I'm pretty sure when I caulk it, I won't have to clean anything up. It'll be nice and neat. He did it neat up there. He was a person for this. So anyway, that's it for now. I'm gonna put a shelf over in this corner here. I did not redo my floors. I need to find a piece of tile to go in that corner there, that little grimy corner, because we knocked that tile out and I decided, no, we're not doing that. We're not spending another 15 weeks on the floor. The floor is an off-white, kind of a bone color. The trim is black. I'll find a piece to put there. And then that'll be the end of that, boo. The gasket on here, fits down there. This bottom corner is really tight right here. But the gasket keeps it from squeaking and scraping. So yeah, could not fit the gasket here, but I honestly don't think you need it. Like, I mean, it's not needed as far as I'm concerned. Come on, focus. You can barely see. So anyway, that's that. All right, guys. Until the next viewing when I decorate. Okay.